freaking get Wi-Fi. I hate this.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible. I know words, I have the best words.
He took a break from being disruptive to enjoy the company of her male companion. He briefly had a grasp on the situation before ushers returned.
Take a look at the oranges of the... Look, wait. They sacrifice every day for the furniture.
Some words that have been said about you, okay?
Nazi wine mom, Nazi cave woman.
I don't let name calling bother me or offend me.
This one's from someone across the pond, a daft wanker. That's British for stupid. Lives on a diet of glue sticks. A lower level life form.
Cephahide.
He's a war hero because he was captured.
Welcome everyone to the show. This is episode 6 of Left is Right, and we are finally almost getting it kind of correct. So we're stepping in the right direction. Hopefully people will enjoy the show, and if you do, please let us know. Click the likes and the subscribes and all that good stuff in the YouTubes and the Facebooks. If you don't like it, well, we don't care. Okay, we care, but not as much as if you like it. Yeah, well, whatever. My name's Steve Weekly. My co-host, Dawn Weekly, as you can tell by the little name tags on our pictures. And this week has been kind of slow. And... eventless, which is good for the country, but kind of sucks when you're trying to run a show like this. But we managed to scrape up a few things. But let's start off with how are you doing, Dawn? And how's everything going?
Just fine. I thought it was a nice break to not be bombarded with 50 existential crises in 7 days.
Ooh, doggy, existential crises, man. Right out the gate with the $50 words. I like that. Ooh-wee. Yeah, no, it's been relatively quiet. Relatively, status quo, sort of.
There are still some things going on that back in the day might have been what you call a BFD that they would have talked about 24/7 for a long time. That now is like,
yeah. I mean, we've been spoiled. Let's face it.
The bar has just been lowered so low. Because like back in the day, I mean, because you remember when Gary Hart got trounced out of the presidential election just because there was a picture of him with somebody on his lap on a boat that was called Monkey Business. Boom, career over.
Yeah, and they never did anything.
But yet something like our first.
If you're gonna lose your career, at least you should do is tap that butt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But can you imagine if something like our first topic had happened back then, where the candidate for president goes around and says that he talked to the family of this murder victim that is their poster child victim du jour, and the family says, no, he never talked to us, he's lying. I mean, can you imagine if that would have happened way back when?
Yeah, and the right, the hard right just ignores that fact.
Just ignoring. I don't understand. So the facts, Jack. He has a rally in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and this Ruby, say her name. I think it is the one, Ruby Garcia. Maybe it's a different one, but apparently this Ruby Garcia is a woman who was murdered by an undocumented immigrant. It happened. I heard, or heard on the news that it was a domestic violence situation, and the undocumented immigrant was her boyfriend / significant other person. And that's why that happened. It wasn't like some random act of violence.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, because somebody was killed by an illegal, the woman becomes their poster victim for immigrant violence. And so he tells his rally, people at his rally, that he had talked to the family of Ruby Garcia, and the family of Ruby Garcia replies, "We were really surprised when we were watching that live to see that he said that he had talked to us, because he has never talked to us." And he just made it up.
I wonder, being they were watching it live, I wonder if he lost their vote.
It might be, because I've seen several things. I've seen the sister. I've seen other people talking about it, about being upset about the fact that he said that he had talked to them, and he has never talked to them. So
yeah, that's just how can a person be that not only unscrupulous, but what does it take to be like that? I cannot mentally put it together to be like that.
Well, I couldn't either, but
is it a mental?
We talked about this before. In his mind, if he thinks it's true, or thinks it should be true, or thinks that he'd like it to be true, in his mind, it just becomes true. It sounded good, so he said it. So therefore, it's true.
That's a mental disorder, and these people want to elect someone with a mental disorder.
I'm not denying that it's probably in the DSM somewhere. Yeah, probably. I think sociopathic is where they fall. But not that I'm a psychologist. I'm not. Or psychiatrist, either one. But yeah, that's.
Well, I did stay in a Holiday Inn Express the other day, and I'm going to tell you my diagnosis is that some big crazy.
He cray.
Yeah. Not sure, I'm not sure if they'll use that down to Walgreens for his prescription or not, but there's just got to be there's wires crossed, there's switches not connecting. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it seems so otherworldly, and it gets more and more unbelievable day to day. Things that are happening, like now, not only do they not hold him accountable for lying about that, now he compares himself to Jesus on Easter, and talks about his persecution, only second only to someone else on Easter, and even
I'm fine with that. You know what? Let's let him walk through the streets of Jerusalem getting whipped and rocks thrown at him, and see if he likes it. If he wants to get persecuted like Jesus, let's give him a little taste.
So your idea, as the answer to the question, is Trump the second coming of Jesus, or is he the Antichrist? Your suggestion is to do a valid scientific experiment.
Absolutely.
Which is recreate the whole crucifixion scene and see what happens, and that should solve the problem, or that should give us an answer.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it would probably look something like this.
Yeah, yeah. Although,
Just
you
saying.
know, you can tell that's an old picture because he doesn't look that good anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, the wombat is fitting a little tighter. I mean, now I know why he's broke, because, you know, wombats are not cheap, and to train them to sit on your head like that, that's got to take some money.
That's not a wombat. It's a tribble. Come on, get it right.
Tribbles don't exist yet. That's a wombat.
That's where they come from.
Right, right. In like a couple 100 years, that's, you know,
That's right.
they diverge.
That's right. So your vote is, let's just do a scientific experiment.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. We get
And then
40, 50,000 people lining the streets of Jerusalem. We have them carry a big old heavy cross. We have a guy stand behind him just whipping the shit out of him the whole time. And everybody that's lining the streets throws rocks at him. And, you know, after about, 3-4 miles, we say, all right, hey, how did that feel? Is that persecution kind of equal to what you've been going through? And see what his answer is. Just saying.
Yeah, and so we'll do the scientific experiment, then we'll crunch the data.
Yes.
And then we'll
absolutely.
come up with a report. Peer reviewed.
Absolutely.
And that will definitively answer the question. Well, you know that evangelicals aren't going to believe that anyway.
Oh, yeah, science. I mean, come on.
Especially the 3 out of 4 of them who support Trump. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand them.
They feel that he is the second coming of Jesus Christ.
And we're going down into Trump land next week.
Yes, I know.
Leaving our blue state and going to a red one. Ugh.
I know. I've been online on Amazon trying to find full body condoms that are bulletproof, and they don't make them yet.
Oh my God!
The closest I could come was a hazmat suit, and wouldn't look real good. Wouldn't look real good at the event we're attending. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true. Although there is some hope, because recently a city council member from Enid, Oklahoma, it was found out that he attended the January 6th insurrection, and the North Carolina Jews will not replace us rally. And basically, they led a campaign to get him removed from city council, and they held a referendum election.
Yeah, hold on. I got something on that. Let's take a listen.
Okay.
Now the question is, well, how potent is white grievance at the ballot box? Well, tonight we just got election results in Oklahoma for a recall election of a local candidate who could serve as somewhat of a litmus test here. These are photos from the white nationalist Tiki Torch rally in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017. The arrows there are pointing at a man named Judd Blevins. He was among the crowd that chanted, "Jews will not replace us" that day, and now he is a city commissioner of Enid, Oklahoma. Not only was Blevins an active leader from at least 2017 to 2019 in the white nationalist group Identity Europa, but in the lead up to the Charlottesville march, he made online posts under the pseudonym Conway, including "Hitler never would have allowed this bleep." Last year, Blevins won his election by 36 votes. Tonight, the city of Enid voted again on whether to recall Mr. Blevins. And make no mistake, this election was about his beliefs that white people are the real victims of racism. This was Mr. Blevins' response to the very first question asked of him at a city forum last week, when he was asked what his goal was when he worked with white nationalist groups like Identity Europa.
what were you trying to achieve, or what was your purpose in those
bringing attention to
affiliations?
the same issues that got Donald Trump elected in 2016, securing America's borders, reforming our legal immigration system, and frankly, pushing back on this anti-white hatred that is so common in media and entertainment.
That video courtesy of MSNBC. But yeah, that guy's a douche. Did we get did they have the election results yet?
Yes, he was ousted. He was kicked off the city council. So there is some semblance of rationalism going around in small pockets here and there, even in red states.
Yeah.
So that's good news, I guess.
No, I agree. I agree that they getting him out is good. Is a good sign. Good sign.
I don't understand how they believe that there's anti-white hate. I don't understand where that comes from. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, me personally, I hate all them honkies, but I don't know. We still, white people still have all the advantages, so I don't understand what these people are telling themselves. I
just because they put a show on the WB with an all-black cast doesn't mean that's anti-white. I don't get what they're talking about. I don't understand what they're talking about. And all this affirmative action, and I can't get a job because they hire black and brown people, and they won't hire me because I'm like, affirmative action doesn't hardly apply to hardly any jobs. I mean, it's a very small percentage of employers who are subject to affirmative action plans.
Yeah, you have to have federal contracts.
Yeah, you have
to have federal contracts. Otherwise, it referred to colleges. That's about it.
Yeah, and still there's still not that many minorities in colleges, and I don't understand how it's a problem. But one snippet I saw today was that one in 4 men under 40 are single. So the number of single white men, unmarried, is increasing. And a lot of times they have, I guess they feel like they were entitled to something that they didn't get. A good job and a wife, and like those were things that they should have just because.
Absolutely, it should just be given to them. Just give it to them. Although I think I know part of the problem.
Yeah.
Every now and then, my wife watches a show on TLC about plural marriages, and there's an awful lot of black guys on there with, 3 and 4 and 5, chubby white wives. So that's where they're all going. If you want to know, they're all going to plural marriages with black guys, and it's all the bigger white women. So, and in today's society, there's not enough, skinny white women to go around.
So there's a shortage of women in general. So there's a shortage of women in general because of polygamy.
Yeah, exactly. If those damn Mormons would give up, the 13 wives, there'd be more ladies to go around.
Is that sister wives or something? No,
Seeking Sister Wives, I think, is the name of it. Yeah. It I don't know. It gives me the heebie-jeebies watching it because I just don't get that. But that's me. So teach their own. I mean, if you can make it work, then have at it. But I have a hard enough time making one woman happy, let alone 3 or 4. Christ.
But do you?
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder.
Sorry, couldn't resist.
Okay, you know something I don't?
No, I don't. I do not.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bust your chops.
That's all right. I deserve it every now and then. Yeah, the whole white supremacy thing is it's rooted in a lie from the 1860s, people. You know, it was a guy who was pissed off that he lost his slaves and lost his plantation because of, losing the Civil War, who started this whole thing because he was just so butthurt. And people buy into it. I tell you, whoever does their marketing really deserves every penny they're getting, because they are convincing some people about some lie perpetrated in the 1860s. It's ridiculous.
Donkulous.
That too.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Next subject, I'd like your input on. Oh, wait, we do have a conflict. Yes, you do. Uh-oh. Yes, you do what? If you could give us another little tidbit on that. I forget what I was talking about. Hopefully it's... I think I know what that refers to. So, yeah, I'm in trouble, everybody, just in case you were wondering. That means
no, I think that she's saying, yes, you do make her happy.
No, I think what she said is, yes, you do have a hard time making one woman happy.
See? Make me very happy.
Oh, well, thank you, Deborah Levesque. I appreciate that. And I'm glad your husband makes you happy. I'm her husband, in case you're wondering. And yes, I do force her to watch. So everybody should look her up and say,
you poor thing.
You poor thing. I cannot believe that man forces you to watch that mess. But
she's a good sport.
Yeah, she's a good lady. I'd like some input. The other day, Trump said at a rally that suburban housewives just love Trump, and he's going to win with all the support he's going to get from white suburban housewives. Well, you are a white, far suburban housewife.
Exurban.
What is the
and
possibility?
I'm not a housewife, so.
Oh, true. But is there any housewives anymore, really? I mean, I'm one, but, I'm a trophy husband, so.
He does have very strong suburban female support. However, I think that's the weakest category where he's going to make the largest losses because of the abortion issue, because so many of those Collar County suburban white women are actually pro-choice. Down deep, they are pro-choice because they feel like there should be some kind of escape valve, but they know that it's so fashionable to be pro-life. So they voted for the pro-life candidate, but deep down they're pro-choice. Yeah. And the more
I know how to get their votes.
Huh?
I know how to get their votes.
Yeah?
Yeah, being that, a lot of women are railing against losing the rights to their bodies. We'll tell them, listen, vote for Biden We'll give you 20 cents more an hour, and you can have the rights to your body. What do you think?
I think that's offensive.
Well, no, I'm saying that we'll force everybody to, close the wage gap.
Uh-huh.
And we'll enshrine the rights to, your own health care. But you got to vote for Biden. That's the way it is.
The Equal Rights Amendment did not pass. I don't think that you can run on a platform of promising to do what the Equal Rights Amendment could not do when it couldn't even pass.
You can promise anything. Trump's proven that.
I guess that's true.
Say he's going to do it.
The reality is that the further they go down this path of the Handmaid's Tale, which is because they're streaming down the path, they're running down the path, they're sprinting down the path because once the gate is clear, they're like, okay, it's on now, so we want full Handmaid's Tale. So they're going after IVF and they're going after contraception and
Now I have a question for you. Who watched that series and said to themselves, "Utopia, that's what we need"? That wasn't the reason it was popular.
Yeah, dystopian is why it was popular. But there are some people who would like to have that, where the household is of the man's name, and whatever that stuff is. But the further they go down that path, the more votes they're going to lose, and that's fine. Take a running gallop down that path. I don't care. Go. Show us your true colors, what you really want. Show me what you really want.
All right. So you think that the white suburban housewives really are voting for Trump?
I think that he has support. I think that he had support in 2016. He had less support in 2020. And I think he's going to have a lot less support in 2024, although he does have support there. But the biggest support he has is evangelicals, white evangelicals, and rural folks. That's where his big time support is at.
Yeah.
Your suburban voters are usually a little more, they're more educated and higher income. And the demographics is very clear for someone who makes more than $50,000 a year. They do not support Trump, like 0%. 0% support, basically like such a de minimis amount of support from people who make more than $50,000 a year, until you get up to the mega people who support them just for tax.
Right.
Because they can get their taxes done. Or get their taxes relieved, Cuts. Cuts. C-U-T. It's a very small word. I couldn't think of it, but it's C-U-T. Cut.
And here's my question: why do they even need the tax cuts? None of them pay fucking taxes anyway. They all got loopholes. They're only paying a quarter of their taxes. They're only paying like a quarter of their taxes. The ones that do.
How much money does one need? How many lifetimes worth of money that you can't spend do you need? It's hoarding. It's a disease. It's hoarding. It's just a hoarding of money instead of objects. But the other factor, the two big factors of whether, I guess there's three big factors of whether you're a Trump supporter. Number one is, are you a white evangelical? If you are, you're likely a Trump supporter. Do you make more than $50,000 a year or less than $50,000 a year? If you make less than $50,000 a year, you're more likely to be a Trump supporter. And the third one is education level. If you have a high school diploma or less, you're more likely to be a Trump supporter. And the more education you have, that support falls off. The support among college graduates is very low. I wish I had the figures. Maybe next week I'll do the review and get the figures. I didn't keep track of the figures because they were talking about the trends in general and how polling worked, not like what the numbers said. They were talking about how they did the analysis and all of that. But
Gotcha.
that was some of the things that came out of that was the likelihood of being a Trump supporter goes up. The less money you have, the less education you have, and the more evangelical you are. Your support.
Cool. All right. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about our next topic. So stick with us, and we shall be back in just a few minutes.
We're looking for a few heroes, mentors, trailblazers, innovators, a passion to change lives, spark curiosity, open hearts, and awaken minds, help students answer the question, who am I? This could be your calling, but this is no job. It's the journey of a lifetime. Be a hero. Be a teacher.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner! Go.
Excellent. Soccer's fun. Yeah, I saw you guys out there.
Every body in a work zone is someone's somebody.
This is my mom. She works for KDOT.
This is my dad.
This is my mom.
This is my daddy.
This is my sister.
This is my daddy.
This is my son, Scott. He was killed while working in a highway work zone. When you drive through a work zone, drive like a life depends on it. Because it does.
911, operator 901. Where's the emergency?
127 Brymere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushroom.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency line.
How long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
And you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.
And welcome back to the show. Our next topic is sort of a carryover from the last show. I believe it is about the esteemed gentleman, John Eastman. And what happened to him, ma'am?
Indeedy do. Mr. Eastman has been disbarred in California. So the attorney who came up with the Green Bay sweep? No, that was Peter Navarro. No, but Eastman was a former Supreme Court clerk and, very esteemed person before he came up with this fakakta scheme and tried to put a legal ribbon on it by giving it a legal theory backing. And because of his acts doing that, he has been disbarred in California. So he is no longer able to practice law. And So this is part of our, we do tend to, we do want to try to focus on some good things that are happening here and there, or little pockets of happiness. And it's not that this makes me happy, but this is some accountability. And Trump has had no accountability so far. So someone having accountability, more accountability, the better. And this is a step up from the insurrectionists themselves having accountability for having been there, because they were just duped. They were duped into going and doing what they did. They thought that they were doing what was right. And this guy, was he should have known better, basically. It's and just there was no legal theory for this, and it's and the whole idea of decertifying the elected electors and just having Congress choose someone else is totally anti-democratic.
Yeah, completely.
He should have been. So he should have faced some music, and now he has.
Yep. No, absolutely. No, that's good. I mean, at some point they're going to have to start getting the unnamed co-conspirators named and some paperwork filed on them at some point, because it's yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous that it's 4 years down the road basically, and still virtually nothing's been done.
Yeah.
I
think in the future, when people look back, that's going to be like the biggest failing that people are going to come up with. They're going to say that's the biggest failing, is the lack of accountability for the people who are pushing it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then they'll point to the obvious two-tier justice system for people with money and power go over everybody else. Because it's blatantly obvious now. I mean, they can't try and cover it up and say, oh well, no, it's equal. No, you've gone out of your way to prove that it's not equal, that there's a two-tier system. So
any Yahoo who was out on bail, who was doing pulling the shenanigans that Trump has been with the things that he's posting and trying to intimidate people with, they would be in jail. Their bail would be revoked.
Yeah, no, exactly. And anybody who's out on bail who leaves the state in a plane would have it revoked. And this guy's jetting all over the friggin' place.
Well, they probably allowed him to do that, seeing as how he was a candidate for president and all. But
sorry, I don't think that's. You know what? So you're out in Florida, campaign from there, and do that.
And because there have been people who have campaigned for president from prison before, so you could do that. You could stay in Florida and run for president.
Yeah.
Especially these days with communications being.
Yeah, exactly.
Ridiculous. You don't have to go in person to anything.
Yeah. No, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's just it's three-car money all over the place, and I'm sick of the game. I'm sick of the game.
Yep.
And I want to start seeing accountability so that things will change. And I know I was talking to Dad last week, and talking about how Jimmy and CJ and Katie and how hard it is for them to start their lives because of the cost of housing and everything and the way everything's set up.
Yeah.
And it's on the edge. I mean, society is on the edge. Something's going to happen. Something has to happen to start the correction.
Yes.
I mean,
And I think these small little pockets are the beginnings of the momentum going back the other way. That's my hope.
But yeah, but something has to happen, and I'm just hoping it's not another depression. But that's the only thing I can see that is probably going to force it. Is another depression
or a war. I'm more afraid of a war myself.
We were in a war for 16 years, and that didn't do anything to slow it down.
Wait, no, I mean a war here.
On
our own ground. Have you seen the trailer for that movie? In the trailer, they keep saying, "We're just passing through. We're just passing through." I've seen it like twice, but it's a movie, of Civil War here.
Oh, okay.
That's it, and it's just coming out. It's a movie about.
Well, I mean, it could happen. I mean, any uprising would get quashed pretty quickly. You're not gonna roll over the U.S. Armed Forces. That's just the way it is.
Well, I think it's maybe it's called Civil War. Let's see.
I don't know, but it sounds scary. I'm not sure I want to see it, but.
Opening in theaters April 12th, takes place in a near future United States ravaged by conflict. Texas and California have seceded in response to an authoritarian third-term president who has jettisoned the Constitution.
Oh. Awesome.
Yeah.
I think idiocracy is close to as
easy for you to say.
Is as close to a documentary as I want to see. And that's almost 15 years old and eerily spot on.
Yeah, but so it's called Civil War. That's new movie coming out April 12th.
Cool.
I kind of want to see it, although part of me doesn't want to see it because it's like, ooh, that's too real, man. You're getting too real on me.
You're giving them ideas, dude. You're giving them ideas.
Then there's that. But, to see someone's take on it or what their imaginings on it might be, might be interesting.
Oh, very true.
Yes.
Do you have any other topics of gripe and or dismay?
Well, I'm sure, but we ain't got that much time.
I mean, on the national scale.
Oh, like not just locally with my own personal little. You don't want to hear those gripes? Okay. No.
More big picture.
Okay. How about we talk about some potential solutions? What we can do for solutions?
Absolutely, I am all about it.
And our solution this week is we want to talk about ending the tax-exempt status of churches.
Yes, absolutely. And I think Bill Maher said it perfectly. Let's take a look.
And finally, new rule now that it's April 15th. All U.S. taxpayers must call out all the deadbeats who ride for free, which include giant corporations like GM and United Airlines, which this year are going to pay no taxes. How brave of you. But the list should also include this place, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. There are 300,000 religious congregations in this country that pay no tax, no federal, state, or local, no income, sales, or property tax, and they own $600 billion in property. You know, Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard once said that the only way to make any real money in this world was to start a religion. The Supreme Court of the United States really needs to take a case about taxing churches because it hasn't done that since 1970. 35% of millennials want nothing to do with it, and the rest worship an ancient Jew born over 2,000 years ago, Bernie Sanders.
Absolutely. I agree with all of that, including worshiping Bernie Sanders.
Yes.
But
why is this a solution?
Because I think that with the fact that the one thing that I don't think Bill Maher was considering is the fact that churches and organized religion are throwing their weight around in politics, and they're trying to influence, local government, state government, federal government. They're all trying to influence it. Well, that's as against the Constitution as it gets. The whole separation of church and state is because, you're not supposed to do that. That's a no-no. And I think that on MSNBC they were talking about little, small rural churches where, preachers are expounding the virtues of Trump being the second coming of Christ, and that abortion is an abomination against God. And okay, you want the easiest way to get them to stop is to tax them. Tax them. If we tax the churches, we never have to worry about funding for Social Security and Medicaid or Medicare or any of that. There'd be more than enough money to sustain all that. We could buy, 150 more golden, toilet bowl seats for the Pentagon with the amount of money that would bring in. So, if they want to talk politics, they need to pay the price. If they want to be a religion and talk about religion and how to better yourself and how to live a righteous life, tax-free, no problem. But
yeah, so I guess it's not ending the exempt status of all churches at all times. I think this is more about refining the qualifications to remain tax exempt, is that you have to disaffiliate from political activity.
Yes, absolutely. And you have to prove it and show it every year.
Yeah.
Or let's even get a little more nasty. They have to show it and prove it every quarter.
Well, I remember being shocked, I tell you. A few years ago, I was listening to our local radio station on a Sunday, and they were broadcasting a local church service. And I was shocked and appalled at the service, which was all about Trump and how everybody should vote for Trump, and here's why. It was not a religious service. It was a political campaign. And I was shocked.
Do you remember which church it was?
No, I do not. I think it was one of those it was an evangelical one.
So it was a televangelist type one?
Not televangelist. It was a church.
Local one. That's right.
Yeah.
You're saying local.
I think it was the one where they make the girls wear skirts or wear dresses and they can't wear pants.
Yeah, the fundamentalist church.
Yeah. But I just was angry because that was not religion, that was politics. And I fired off an email to the radio station.
Oh, those fingers were warm.
not
The
that
clickety was going crazy.
not that probably did one bit of good, but I was appalled. And it he didn't even talk about God. All he talked about was who you should be voting for. And it was all about Trump. And this was before the 2016 election because I lived in my other house then.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He had no compunction about talking about it because he's broadcasting on the radio. It's not like he's talking to his church members. It's like, this is going out on the radio. Didn't care.
Yeah.
There's no repercussions. So that stuff like that goes on every Sunday.
Yeah.
This is why so many evangelicals support Trump, because they get that message reinforced every 7 days. Not to mention 24/7 on Fox News and OAN and Newsmax.
Not only does Fox News say it, but Pastor Ben's been saying it every Sunday for the last 6 months. It must not be true.
It's all reinforcement. And, I can kind of understand it because I think I told you last week, I listened to an entire campaign rally, the whole hour and a half, whatever it was.
My heart went out to you. You're a braver soul than I.
But it was interesting because a part of me wanted to belong to that group of people. A part of me wanted to be in the group. You know what I mean? So I can understand how people get entranced. I don't know if it's the cadence of what he says, if the word choice is what he says is what does it, or if it's the the rally goers applauding at certain times. I don't know what it is, but I was listening more than watching because I was also playing a game on the computer at the same time. So I rarely watched. I listened more than I watched.
And how was your Cityscapes doing?
This would be great if this would be, gosh, there was that. I was like, gosh, I can understand why people and they keep going to it time after time after time after time because it's like like getting a little hit of endorphins.
Right. Well, see, that would definitely not have affected me that way. I've never felt compelled to be in a group of people. No, seriously. I like being in a group of people. I like going and hanging out, and I'm social and all that. But I've never felt compelled to join.
Well, I don't think the compulsion to join. It's like feeling the camaraderie of other like-minded individuals who are enjoying something at the same time you are enjoying it. It's a camaraderie. It's like it's like a virtual hug. But that's like what I get from being in band.
Right.
Playing music with other people at the same time is like, it's a camaraderie of we're in this group and we're making something together. Together, we're making this music. And it's a camaraderie thing. It's similar to that.
Yeah, I've always had issues with camaraderie.
The loner?
Huh?
The loner?
I guess. Camaraderie's never been something I really seeked out.
Well, what about when you were playing on teams in sports?
Not the best teammate in the world, really.
I
would be,
right.
good.
Wrestling was your thing because it's a solo activity more than a team?
Kind of. Kind of. Now, the closest I've come to that is when I was coaching. That's one thing that was different than participating. I did feel more, more camaraderie that way, but it was still. I kept one foot on the outside and one foot in.
Yeah.
So, I like it, I enjoy it, but I don't necessarily seek it out. Like for me, a cult would be one hell of a job to see me someday joining a cult, because I spend so much time looking for the hook, and
we are both contrarians.
Right.
Yeah, we are.
Right.
Oh, you tell me that's so? Let me figure out how that's not so.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And I don't know where that comes from. I mean, mom and dad weren't really like, mom was a little more than dad, but it never seemed to come back and bite dad in the butt or anything. So
Dad's not a contrarian. Mom.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Mom was a contrarian.
Yeah, very true.
Big time.
Yeah, but dad would never be susceptible to a cult or anything either. He's very, you know what I'm saying? The first thing that the cult leader said that wasn't logical, he'd be like, "Oh, well, bye." You know what I mean? Don't you agree?
Yeah. But
the computer's tired. It is quit working.
Yeah, it's taking a nap right now. But a good thing I don't have a stupid look on my face.
Yeah, no, you look enthralled, so that's a good look. Buffering.
What I was going to say was, people on, if it was possible for lefties like us to come up with something that would challenge that sense of camaraderie, but we're just so disparate and, broken up, and, we don't have a big glue pot together. But if we had something like that, we could woo some people who are in the MAGA camp just from the camaraderie aspect of it. We could woo some of those people.
No, that makes absolute sense. I'm with you. I am with you.
Because they're just in it because, like, we have some certain family members that I would say they probably are in it just because others are in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. With the last few minutes, you are a big reader, and you would like to give a review of your latest book.
So I finished the book, The Conspiracy to End America by Stuart Stevens, who is a previously was a Republican strategist, campaign person, and he helped elect a lot of Republicans. Basically, there is no underlying conspiracy, as I kind of thought there might be. Basically, he's just talking about how the Republican Party has sold out. They have sold out their scruples and their morals in pursuit of power.
Got you.
And so that's the thesis of the book, and I saved you several hours.
Wow. That was an in-depth report. I appreciate that.
Well, we didn't have a lot of time, so I thought I'd cut to the chase.
Yeah, I mean, we did sort of get off. We did sort of. I know what you're saying, and yes, it's probably all my fault. I agree.
I did not say that.
No, but I could tell that's what you were thinking.
I was not thinking that at all. But it's basically just a recitation of how the Republican Party has lost its scruples, sold out, and really at this point is okay with going down the autocratic route if it will give them power. That's the book in a nutshell.
But what they don't understand is by doing that, they lose their power.
You know, what they don't understand is that they won't always have the power, and someone else could have the power, and then they could do that to them.
Yes.
You know, that's why the whole democracy thing came about, was so that everybody would be equal. And you know, because somebody, you know, 1 minute you might have your heel on someone's neck, but the next minute you might be on the ground with someone else's heel on your neck, just because that's in the topsy-turvy world of autocracy. That's how it works. And you know, we voted against that and said, let's not do that anymore. Let's have an even playing field where everybody gets a vote. And of course, small steps. It wasn't everybody. We know that. But, you know, at the time, it was a really radical thing to not have a king or a dictator or a, you know, prince or whatever.
Potentate. I like that for a $50 word.
Okay.
Am I impressing anybody? Well, I think that about does it. Thank you for your book review. I would like to encourage everyone to visit a couple of web pages. The first one is www.nationalpopularvote.com. And they also have a Facebook page, which is scrolling at the bottom of the screen right now. Facebook / National Popular Vote Inc. So that we can get that non-championship winning college out of here. So we can get rid of the Electoral College. And I think that it's that takes you to a what am I trying to think? You know, a thing where you sign and not all. I can't remember.
Petition?
Thank you. I believe that you could get to a petition to sign for that to get going.
I know you can also look up whether your state has signed on to that, and if not, how to contact your legislators to encourage them to do so.
There you go. There you go. Wow, now I feel like we're actually doing some good.
Only took 6 episodes.
I know. You know what? By the time episode 13 gets here, we will actually have this show looking like something.
Something.
Something. All right, folks. We will not have a show next week. Unfortunately, we've had a death in the family, and so therefore will be no Left is Right episode 7 next week. But in 2 weeks, tune in, send us a like, and keep watching. And by all means, comment. We will, try to remember to look at them. Sorry, Debbie. And answer any and all questions. Generally, if it's something I don't know, I will make something up. But hopefully in 2 weeks, we will see you again. And until then, live long and prosper. I totally ran out of real estate. I don't know where I was going. All right, bye-bye.
I needed money gone. I had none. I fought the law and the law won.
I just wanted to say, look, welcome to the end of democracy. We're here to overthrow it completely. We didn't get all the way there on January 6th, but we will endeavor to get rid of it and replace it with this right here. We'll replace it with this right here.
Amen.
That's right, because all glory is not to government, all glory to God.
Until I got indicted, I never talked this way about him. You probably know. Until I got, who is this? Is he a friend? You can get him out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Go ahead, you can throw him out.
I needed money gone. I had none. I fought the law.